Hello everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk. I'm joined by Dweg and this time around with h4rn. Let's talk Counter-Strike, lads. That's what we're here to do, Tier 2. Not a lot going on right now. First things first, h4rn, how are you doing?
I'm pretty fine. Hello, and thank you for the invite. It's my pleasure, really. How
Thanks,
are
man.
you guys?
Oh, how nice. I'm doing alright. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. I've been enjoying
Nice.
the sun today, but
Yeah?
you know, I've been watching a few of the events on. There's not that many, but there's a few.
Yeah, a couple. We Play Academy League just started.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just
We'll
saying.
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll have a little chat.
yeah.
Anyway, first things first, we can talk to h4rn a little bit. Obviously, you can see if you want to ask h4rn a question, just write on in the Twitch chat, and I'll pick it up and ask him in a little bit. But I think we could just jump into it, right? And just let's fire away.
Yeah. Okay, Han. First one. What is it like playing in such a competitive Tier 2 space these days?
Okay, so I would say it's pretty enjoyable because like the taste of win is greater, when you see that big and that capable competition, I would say, So yeah, same with the lose, It just I would say it's like a bit better maybe than before, I don't really know, but it's way more motivational. Like when you lose, it makes you like grind harder.
Respectable, respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, Dweg.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I was just going to say the next thing is obviously changes have been made to the enterprise roster. What's the environment been like since you've joined? Obviously, you can't know what it's like before you joined, but what's it like now?
Now, like I would say it's pretty fine. We have our goal. We are trying to create the things like to which gonna be good to pave the way. Let's say it like that. So yeah, I would say it's pretty fine. I'm very satisfied with how things went, at least for the first month since I joined. Like I think we got like top 40 something, which is like pretty good. And yeah,
Okay. Well, in case the viewers didn't know, Ryan, I think we'll just educate them
Yeah, go
about
on.
the changes. We saw that Miltsy was sort of a part of the team. I think Matties and Aggies was there as well, and then obviously Stinks and Han came over. And Miltsy's just gone over to Ents Academy. So that's sort of one of the changes that was in the previous lineup. But it was sort of the Czech-Slovakian team going slightly international for the first time. And for Han, I mean, you played on Blue Jays when it was international, right?
yeah, I played.
Yeah, that was a while ago though. So what has it been? Like a year since you've played on an EU lineup?
Yeah, it was like the start 21 January. It's when I
Mm,
joined January or February. It was like back then, like 21.
yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Something
but
different for Enterprise, and I think both you and I, Ryan, we've seen quite a lot of them over the course of this year. I think there was even a post that went out on one of the social media accounts about maps played, and Enterprise are in like the top 5 on HLTV this year. So playing every event under the sun, pretty much.
the boys been grinding, I would say. It's pretty cool to join team like that because you have games. I mean, sorry, like if I interrupted though.
No,
No, you're
that's all
good.
good, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
Ryan,
Yeah.
do you want to get involved?
Yeah, I was gonna say before I ask the next question. Like, I remember there was one time I casted Enterprise like 6 times in 2 weeks, man. Like half my schedule was Enterprise. I flew to Sweden. I had Enterprise in a semi-final, grand final. I went home on the Tuesday. Bear in mind, I went home. No, on the Monday. When I went home on the Sunday, I had fucking ESEA, and it was Enterprise again. I was like, mate, I can't catch a break. I can't catch a break. But yeah, no, I do agree. The grind is definitely there. And speaking of grinding, what's your warm-up routine like? You play so many officials, so what's it like on a practice day and an official? Is there anything in particular you like doing?
Uh, on practice day, I would just like pick it and start with it. So on practice day, I would say I'm just playing some deathmatch, not a lot. I'm not like of the heavy deathmatch grinders. For me, it's like 15, 20 minutes max is like a lot in deathmatch time. And like aim bots, I prefer a lot because I can do whatever I want, like the spray and shit. So yeah, I'm spending some time till I feel like the mouse. It's how I call it. Like I get in the zone, for example. And yeah, it's not like very strict routine that I need to put those hours. It's basically how I feel it, and yeah, but it should be every day game to be played to keep the shape.
Mm. Now, if we're focusing on tier 2 players here, Han, who is the best player you've played with and the best player that you've played against? This could be in officials, this could be in scrims, this could be in FPLC. Any player out there.
in tier 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's a bit biased or whatever is the word, you know. I hope you get it. I don't know how it's pronounced. Yeah, so I would say Dreamer and Redstar. Like both are fucking insane.
Hmm.
Like them too. And about like not some people I have played with, like my ex-teammates or some shit, uh, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable because Dreamer and
Yeah.
Red Star last year were pretty insane. Like you and him were doing a lot of the double AWPing together, you know, getting both AWPs on CT
It
side.
was pretty great. Like I
Yeah.
think it was something that not many teams were doing that much, or if they were doing
Mm.
it was never that I don't know with this much win rate, I would say, because like our double up was really destroying, like really.
Yeah. Okay, and player against. Who's the best player that you've played against in tier 2?
It's pretty hard to say, like really. I I- I don't remember like someone getting in my mind or something. Oh my God, this guy is so fucking good. Like I usually talk shit about them in my head, you know.
Yeah. Well,
So
a lot of players before that we've had on have pretty much said CIS players. So like any of the like Espada guys or like I don't know any of the like lower CIS teams. Any of them caught you off?
yeah, there are many good players. I wouldn't say like as you said it, like some really C guy, but there are many good guys with potential. I I remember like maybe it's my most recent memory is this Get Jack or something when he played for one shot. I have no fucking idea what their
Okay.
team is. Yeah, you know, like he was doing pretty fine on his A anchoring on Mirage. Like yesterday, I think we played or something. Like some guys, you know, I don't fancy those guys who just run and gun because it's pretty like simple. And those guys who actually know what their role is, what they're supposed to do, and how they do it. And if you're doing this pretty fine, this is like, in my opinion, that you're a good player. Because like it's pretty simple it's just an example, you know, just to run out mid and shoot. For me, this is like some weird thing. Like
Mm.
it takes skill, but it's not, I would say, like very important because everybody can do it. You know, on this level, everybody can shoot. So yeah,
Somewhat a bit different, I think, Ryan. One
Yeah.
shot. I think we spoke about them a little bit in a previous show because they got a new
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I think like no one's really mentioned it. I think the closest we got was probably like I think we had one of the Espada guys, right, mentioned.
Yeah, Finnegan, I think
yeah.
got
Espada,
mentions.
but Espada is gone long
Yeah,
ago.
oh, that
No,
was ages
Yeah,
ago.
it was a while
yeah,
ago. Yeah, yeah. So
yeah. I mean, Finnegan is now who he played with Avangard or something. He dropped
Yeah.
now. I read something about K23, but I'm not spoiling. You know, I just read it in Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly. I just read it in Twitter. But yeah, there are many guys who I would say are good, you know, like good players. This Fear guy recently, like in Fplc, when I played
Hmm.
with him, he seems like understanding, like what's supposed to happen, like about the communication, like the focus in the game. He's not like blah blah shit, you know.
I
yeah,
like that.
Uh,
respect it.
he's there are many people, but like I can't really drop all the names. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
fair
was
enough.
not prepared for that, and
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I could have made list. Maybe some guy watches this, gets really motivated. I would be glad, like if it would be helpful. You know, I think words in this scene play big thing. Like for example, good player says you're good, and you're like, oh my god, you know.
Fair enough. What's the next step for you as a team? You know, like you guys have already accomplished so much in I would say a fairly short period of time. What's the next step? Obviously, I've talked to Stinks a couple of times, and he says top 30 is something you guys really want to be pushing for. Is there anything else you guys have in mind for this year?
Basically, it's top 30. We're playing ESEA Advanced, and I know, of course, to go on the next. I know how it's called even now, Premium MDL. I haven't followed the changes. I don't know how it's called, but you know, just the next step. And yeah, that's it. But basically, what I personally want to create is like some about the gameplay things, you know, to be able to play as a good team, not some randoms. It's the most important. We have like uh, bootcamp incoming, and yeah, that's something mentionable, I would say.
Sure. I've got a couple of questions from Twitch chat from Zyper.
Go on.
He's a player from Entropic Future, the young Entropic team. So he asks,
Right.
do you have a big say in the start/mid/late round leading with Alive?
Yeah, I would say I'm like pretty vocal, and I have been. I haven't played in that many teams, but I have always like had opinion, you know, and always been talking because firstly as an oper, and second, it's just I would say that I pretty much understand the game, even though I'm not IGL. I mean, there are things that happened like in the team recently, but yeah, I mean I switched to IGL recently, but yeah, I mean I have been like before like doing this switch, I have been pretty vocal, so I'm trying to help because you can see I haven't played in a lot of international squads, you know, but bro, I have played solo queue more than 7,000 games, so I can literally play with whoever, like in for the communication thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that everybody is able to do it, so yeah, I'm trying to help with what I can.
Nice.
I want to quickly get in here, Ryan, about
Go on.
FPLC, because I was having a look at a h4rn stream the other week. Mate, you got like 9,000 games on Face It. So how often do you actually play FPLC?
FPLC, I would say I don't play really often. I have
Oh,
maybe
okay.
200 games since I dropped, like for all the time since I dropped from FPL. It's max 200 games for 6 months. I would say it's nothing. I have that many games in Face It is because back then when I played CS, you know, I didn't have FPS, and basically Face It game was my deathmatch.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's maybe a bit weird, but how it is.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And another question that Zyper asks is, Stinks being the least experienced member on your roster, how does he fit into the team? How does he do?
He's doing fine, I would say. He's trying, and you can hear like when we talk to each other or when he's expressing something like opinion or something, you can see that the guy really has the desire, you know. It's really important thing. So yeah, that's it. Like he's doing some mistakes, not very cool, but he's really working and he wants to improve, which is like the great thing. And step by step, like maybe a few more matches, he'll do way better, I believe. Hopefully.
Nice. Any more questions, Dweg?
No, that pretty much wraps it up, to be honest.
Yeah, happy days. All right. I guess we can talk about the finished events then, Dweg. Obviously, there's still a lot to talk about. We kind of had a backlog. We didn't have a podcast for a month or so, and so
Yeah.
we're still trying to wind our way through all the events that we've missed out
Yeah.
on. We can talk about, I guess, the ongoing event first, right?
can
and
do.
then we can back up to the finished events. Speaking, obviously, Han, you're playing in the 1xBet series. It's the ongoing one right now. A lot to talk about for that, I feel like, because it's an event that I think we talked about a little bit more off stream. Apologies. Where it was an event we probably should have seen a little bit more coverage on HLTV, but we're on Liquipedia. We have a good look into it. It's a pretty interesting tournament. I haven't really been keeping up all too much, so maybe you can fill me in a bit here, Dweg.
Yeah, I've been watching a few of the games. It's actually not a bad event. Like, it's 50k prize pool. There's some very good squads involved, and it is a little bit unfortunate that they're not on HLTV because I think the majority of like audience just aren't even noticing that this sort of event is on. But overall, I think that there are some surprises. Masonic, a team that we've been hyping up quite a bit, Ryan, over the course, last month or so, perhaps. They came out in last place in their group, going
Yeah.
out very early, which is kind of surprising. I mean, they lost to a Polish mixed team, and then they lost to Ugentium as well when the first couple of maps of the series was.
Who are we talking about? Masonic?
We're
or
talking
what?
about Masonic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about them, Han? Because to me, like, they're a top 40-ish team. I think they play tactically very good Counter-Strike, but coming last in their group, obviously you didn't play them, but do you think that that's odd?
Yeah, I actually think, but maybe it's like the summer break having some impact, you know, because I remember, I'm not sure, I think when at the start of the year or something, or maybe it was actually this HCG tournament that we played, that we mentioned, I mean, I think I played them, and they were playing pretty team CS. You know, it was not like some teams are pretty random. Those guys were playing like team, even though I'm not sure if I knew more than two of their players. You know, they were playing like team, which is like the way. You know, so it was good, and I would say it's unsatisfying result. But there are many factors that can affect this. Like it's a vacation, like summer right now, and some other things which I don't really know, like maybe inside the team. So yeah, but overall, I would say that I I was impressed, let's say, by this team.
Tell me about the polls. What is it? PAR Omega? I've never heard of these guys, Ryan. I don't know if you've
Paloma.
seen any of their names
Paloma?
before.
Yeah.
Um,
No, not at all. Not a single name in
But
that
they-
list I know. So
Beating Masonic, and obviously they beat you guys as well, Han. What were they like playing? Because I've got no idea about this team.
Okay, so basically, I don't want to sound bad. First of all, in my opinion, because we had Prague against them before playing official, like not the same day, you know, it was like 3 days. We didn't know we're gonna play each other and something. And I would say uh, they do some pretty weird stuff, you know. They're faking 3 bomb site and going on 4th place. You know, it's some pretty weird stuff which you don't
Interesting.
see. Yeah, I would say it's pretty interesting. It's gonna work for them for some time till they're unknown to the scene. You know, I would say this is one way to go through with some, like, let's say, your own style. I would say, because it's pretty random for me. You know, I have played like so many teams, and those guys are the only one doing this, and some other like how to call them, like not the poem guys, but some, I don't know, some FPO mixes, not FPO mixes, but face it mixes, I meant to say. Like they're playing the same way, but these guys are like trained those things, you know, and I would say it worked for them.
Yeah. All
And
right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
there is like the idea behind everything, which is pretty good, and I would say that they're interesting team. It's my opinion about them, even though I haven't heard any of them. You know, maybe the
Yeah.
coach is doing a big impact. I don't really know.
Yeah, well, they did. They had a difficult time in the playoffs, which we could probably talk on a little bit after. But that pretty much is like all of Group A.
I've trolled.
Ugentium, they're a team that have been around for quite a while. I don't know if you've casted much of them, Ryan, but I've seen Ugentium, but I haven't casted them.
I caught them a couple of times, I think, because this team's
Mm.
like, yeah, it's like Bialy and co, isn't it? I think like
Yeah.
I've caught them. They haven't looked like the best team ever, but at the same time, like, I think they're like 80th or 90th in the world, right? Like they're not like at the tip top. We know that they're kind of like a middle of the pack team. It's kind of like a better version of Honoris, right? Like where we get to see them
Yeah.
every now and again in sort of like a tier 3, tier 2 tournament, and it's nice to see them there. But you kind of like wave goodbye as soon as, you know, like the main Swiss effect comes in, you know, when there's like the more invited teams, the higher level of pace. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of this side. I think we have some pretty good players. Grooby's always one that I've looked out for a little bit. I think he's not a bad player individually, but I don't know, this Ungentium side, it's kind of like you got Bialy in the team, and I don't know if he's like a top performer or not. Haven't really kept my eye too keen on them, but yeah, it feels very much like an Honoris V2, but they haven't done too bad in this tournament, right? Like, if you have a look at their matchups, they took a map, obviously, off of the Enterprise boys. They obviously beat Masonic, then got smashed by you guys again, obviously, in this game, 16-12, 16-8. But
Yeah.
it's like a middling result. They go to the last chance stage. They actually win it. Like, well, I say they win it. They
Get out at least.
They get out over under Eyeballers over Isuba, and then get pummeled in the upper brackets again. And then obviously they're playing against Paloma, which, you know, if they're...
How many brackets?
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, it's true. The last chance and all that. Oh, yeah, it does take the mick a bit. But no. Yeah, I think it's quite an early exit. I see them and Paloma losing out on the lower bracket, especially when they've got to play a VP Prodigy or an EC Brugger.
Yeah, Polish Derby too in that lower bracket could actually be quite a fun game. Over at Group B,
They're having it. They're gonna play it. Paloma and Gentium, or whatever is the name
Yeah,
of this.
yeah, it's 2 days, basically.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I think the Paloma guy is gonna lose because it's pressure when you play against local players, and I just think they're gonna lose. Not because they're the worst team, just mentally.
Yeah,
It's my
local
opinion.
derbies are always a
Yeah,
good one
yeah.
to watch.
Yeah, they're a bit weird.
We always remember the Fiend Skate games and how wild they used to be. So yeah, hear that from
Nice to hear
yeah.
that it was enjoyable to watch.
Oh, mate, those games are
Yeah.
fire every single time. Anytime there's not even like just Fiend and Skate, but anytime there's a Bulgarian derby, mate, I don't know what is going on, but there's just like double AWPs. Everyone is fighting everyone. There's just crazy clutches. It's a bit of everything. It's good entertainment.
Yeah, it's cool. Everybody knows everybody basically.
Mm.
So they're getting off the, how to say it, the meta or whatever it is, and just going for the direct personal fight or something, you know?
Well, we can have a look at Group B as well, Ryan.
Sure.
QnA, now they did play with their coach. I will give them that. They played with Kingdom as a stand-in. But bloody hell, mate, they are getting slapped in this
Yeah.
event. Now, they just went to conference. They played on LAN. Now, it was a new lineup that they had in conference, and that they weren't the lineup that qualified to get to the spot. But you're expecting a decent performance out of a team like QnA. And they lost 16-6, 16-2 against VP Prodigy, and then even against ESL. Like,
Yeah,
the Belgium guys aren't the best, and you're not even taking a map. I don't know. That does not look good for me about QnA.
but I think ReTr00 played with the Bruges guys. I don't know against who, but
He
I
did.
know he played.
Yeah.
So it's who
him
he
and
plays against. Like he played for one game, or because I haven't checked, you know.
It might have been one game. I know him and Joel have been standing in a little bit for ESL. So there's that in mind. I mean, Eyeballers as well, Ryan. When they first started as Hellslayers, they were beating top 30 teams in the world in best of ones, best of threes. They had a bit of an early exit in advanced. Now they're struggling in the groups, like they're here in the playoffs. But I don't know, like, you wonder, does mentally someone like JW and Flusher get annoyed with the fact that results aren't coming as quickly as they are? Because this could be a long time project to find a lot of success. I don't know if you've seen much of them, Ryan.
The Eyeballers lads, I remember the video that they made when they got announced. You know, the old
Yeah.
Fnatic one. That was funny. That was good. But as a team, you are right. Like, ever since they've had this like Eyeballers branding, it has actually been a bit south for them. I don't know what the go-to is. Maybe we're just in a bit of a slump. Maybe they were just waiting for the player break and they were kind of already on a break. Like, it's very hard to judge these events just because we're quite close to the player break, and especially when obviously we have the major qualifier announcements out, right, and they're like right at the beginning of the player break ending. No team is just going to come back and straight up just play. We're obviously going to have a build up into it, and so for Eyeballers, maybe they knew it was coming because obviously the dates and whatever, and they just wanted to take an earlier break, and so this was more of a puggy mentality. I don't know, but you are right. It's a bit disappointing, and same could be said for QnA, right, where we have Crystal, who's like the long-standing player. He's played in like 9 different organizations. HS, I remember back in the day playing on Nordavind. He was like an unbelievable player. Carlo was in a little while as well, and this is a team that I expect to not go 0-2. And even if you want to say, maybe it was an unlucky day, they go minus 38 on round difference.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
rough.
that's not just
Not
losing.
pretty bad.
That's getting absolutely destroyed. You know, and like I feel for them because again, maybe this is just like a bit of a, you know, a time where your post roster changes, you went to conference, you know, did your bit, came back home, and now maybe it's a bit of an online grind. You're still trying to find your footing. It happens. We've seen it before. But you shouldn't be coming dead last with a minus 38 on the round difference.
Yeah.
That's the same for me. And same can be said for Illuminar, if I'm honest with you, in Group C. A team,
Yeah.
again, I feel like mimics very much the Ungen team approach, where we've got Snacks in. Obviously, we have Key as a sub, who we've known for a little while in and around. PHR, Morels, Mars, Zan. That's a team that I expect in the 1 and 2. I expect eSuper to be dropping here in this event. But they do well. They actually go 1 and 2, admittedly don't qualify through the last chance, but I would very easily put Illuminar above eSuper, and maybe the talk about Dynamo Eklot as well as a team. I would expect that to go 3 maps against Illuminar, but they just aren't performing. It's another Polish side that we're seeing, you know, subpar results from.
Yeah. I mean, even with the polls, they were at conference and they were one best of 3 series away from making Pro League. I think if they had to beat for the win, they would have made Pro League. And we'll see what they're like out of the player break. Already, Black Tears was not playing in this event and Snacks was instead. So you wonder more stand-ins, more roster changes, perhaps. Could be just some stand-in situations. K23, I don't know if you've seen much of them now, Han, but they've been playing with Problem rather than Nealon, which I think only indicates the EG move a little bit more. That he's going over there to North America to help them out.
I
And
have
that
heard things, and actually I have paid some attention to this K23 team. It looks pretty weird situation for me because I know they made some changes. Yeah.
losing Nealon and Fame would have really hurt them. Oh, sorry, I should say not Nealon, Fame. It was Fame and Norbert, wasn't it? Those were the two
But
guys
losing
that went.
Neon, like I think there is basically no one since I think it was Simon Gaming roster that they signed to K23,
Yeah,
you know? It
that's
was
true.
Mo and Neon, Norbert, and I don't remember who else.
Mm,
But yeah, like basically all the core players or whatever is the phrase for
yeah.
this, they're all gone. So they need to kind of go from scratch and think. But yeah, I kind of like this team, even though they cheated against us. Yeah.
Is that not like the Forza vibe that you get though? The idea that it's like an overhaul. Because remember Forza, like with Almeza and Facecrack and Exipat, it was like all the old players, and now it's like
Yeah.
a new sort of look K23. All the old guards kind of gone. Obviously
Yeah,
they've topped the
but
group. Yeah,
in Forza they always kept Jerry, you know, and this
that's
Jerry guy,
true.
he's so smart, I swear, because if you can do this with 2, 3 different lineups to stay like around top 20, it just speaks for itself, you know, because he has always been there since I started like watching Forza or playing Forza, you know. So I would honestly give so much credit about this team to Jerry. And I think I wrote some tweet about it. I mean, I basically, when we lost, I played a really shit game, but I just wanted to point it out if someone like sees it or something, because this guy really deserves credit, really. And I believe that if this thing with Russia, Ukraine, you know, didn't happen and Bumic was being dropped, I think they would have picked him. It's just my
Mm,
opinion. I don't know about their like
yeah.
relationships with the players, you know. Maybe they have some or something. But yeah, I think he would have been the best option
Mm,
outside Bumic for
yeah.
IGL switch.
I think a lot of players have said that, Ryan, of how strong of an IGL he is. I wanted to ask you, Han, about Dynamo Eklot and Asuba. Like, obviously, you play in a Czech-Slovakian core. You must play these teams fairly often, right?
Yeah, it's even annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are they decent? Do you think that they're getting close to like a competitive position? Because obviously they're nowhere near as competitive as you guys are. But what do you think of those two?
I don't know. Results wise, like overall, I think this Dynamo, Equot, that's what are doing pretty fine. About the Suba, like I don't know if they're even top 100 HUTV, so you know it's nothing to say. Good luck to them. And
Hmm.
yeah, like when I play them, it's pretty boring because it's one of those I don't know. It's weird, like local game, like when we play Bulgarians, but it's a bit lower level, you know. It's my personal opinion, and it's just boring game for me. Like I'm not enjoying the game. I'm not like taking credit out of players. They probably work hard, you know. I have seen them on boot camp and shit like this. It's just how I feel about this and what I think. But overall, yeah, they're like decent, I guess. We even lost against them at some point for sure. I remember we lost twice to some Czech team outside of Sinners. And yeah, that's it basically.
Well, when I think back to the V4 event that you were playing with Fiend at the time, Blogus, who was still there for Asuba, he had a really good event, and I think it's a
Uh,
little bit unfortunate that we
was
haven't
it
seen
event?
much from
Was
him.
it event or a map though? Because I remember he dropped 30 or something, but I don't remember
Yeah,
it twice or something. So maybe it was map you remember, but I'm not sure if
yeah,
it was event.
maybe.
Quite possible.
Yeah, that could be true. I mean, Daitor as well. I've seen a few of his games. He looks really good on that
Yeah.
that Dynamo Eclot team. He's by
He
far their best
has
rifler.
the FPL confidence, and he could shoot. Like since in FPL or something, like the guy could shoot. You can see. Maybe some situations were pretty, I don't know, shady for him. Like he didn't know what to do in some situations, but with practice, on time, it gets better. It gets better. But he has the confidence from FPL, and he's quite visual, which is like something good, you know.
Well, I
Like
think yeah.
yeah, while playing FPL, it's like the only thing basically that really affects. While in pro, in I mean team games, officials and shit, it's like the confidence you get because you play from not from against. I mean some pretty good players, and you get in the server, for example. Of course, I'm not taking anything from those guys I'm gonna mention now. Like for example, from Asuba and who you're playing against. Like for example, last night you're playing Simple, Zaiwu, Nico, and some other top players, and the next day you join and you play Asuba. Of course, you're gonna be confident as fuck. So I think this plays pretty big part in his, how to say it, good good time in Equad or wherever he's gonna go.
What do we think about the playoffs, Ryan? I mean, for us, I think it's most likely that K23 and Enterprise are like the favorite teams here. They're like the top 40-ish teams that
Yeah.
are playing in this sort of event. I don't know who the third favorite would be. VP Prodigy have actually looked pretty good this event, but then
Who are playing for VP Prodigy though? I'm just curious asking.
they played Kawana,
No, who is
Eyeballers.
playing for them?
Who
Which
is?
players?
Oh, no
Yeah,
idea,
yeah,
mate.
Here,
Yeah,
I'll scroll up it for you. It's
yeah.
it's just where is it? Here, Result, Cheerful, Lomic, Latic, Flash, and their coach is
Yeah.
Sunlight.
Yeah, they're doing good. They're doing good, bro. I don't know them.
Yeah. I was
I've
gonna
never
say the
casted
same.
them.
I was
But
gonna say
when
the
they're
same.
going 2-0, it's obvious they're doing good. It's cool.
Yeah, they've had a pretty breezy time so far. So we'll
Yeah.
see what they're like. Obviously, Han, you just spoke about Eklot. You're going to play them tomorrow. So we'll tune in to see how that game goes down and whether it is an easy result.
I don't know. We're
Um,
playing with stand-in. We're gonna see, but it should be fine.
Okay. I like the confidence. All right. Well, that
Yeah.
pretty much wraps up this event, Ryan. Unless you got anything else.
Nah, just keep an eye on it. I think is the one, because I think this is actually quite a gatekeeper tournament. To like tier 2.
It is.
If you can beat a K23, if you can beat an Enterprise, VP Prodigy obviously already beating on Gentium, I would say that's quite a good introduction. So it'd be nice to see. Check it out, and yeah, we'll definitely keep up to date with this one, Dweg. But yes, that will be that one. Do we want to move on to one of the other events? I think it would be.
We can do.
Do you want to move on to the Sazka eCUP? We could.
Yeah, one of the local events here we're going to talk about again, Han. Your favourite teams to play. Second place in the final going down to Sinners. Tell me about the event as a whole, because that was what, last week?
But I don't remember which event is this.
I'll bring it up. Hold on.
Yeah, you can go and have a look. You played a Super in the semis, and then you
I
played
think we lost even, yeah.
lost in the final. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to
it was this
tell you
recent
again.
one. No, it's fine. It's fine. Like we did some changes after that. I was not in home for. I had like 40 hours past 2 weeks while playing all the games since I had to be out. So it's pretty fine lose. It's not like I grinded the shit out of the game and I was so disappointed. I just couldn't make the time. It was like pretty personal, but yeah, they beat us. It's whatever.
What do you reckon about Tom Case? Because obviously we know that we'll talk about it later on, Ryan, that they've made changes and that they're not still playing with their coach.
About who? This Tom Case guy?
Yeah, the coach for Sinners that's playing, like that was standing in, because
Yeah, I think he did so fucking good, bro. Like his coach, and
Yeah.
they still doing pretty fine. I mean, even not this tournament, they played some others and they beat some pretty good teams. I think
Yeah.
Complexity, I think, I'm not sure though,
Yeah.
but Complexity won one game since they signed, whatever. I know it's pretty good for a coach. It's pretty fucking good for a coach, and it's amazing, like feeling, I guess, because I know your top fragger or whatever Neofrag was for Sinners, he was the star for them.
Mm.
You're getting switched by the coach, but this guy he did so good job with what he could, and I think I know he's a good player.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he's
did
doing
very
the
well.
things he needs to do. Obviously he understands the game, and
Mm.
I guess he played. So it's maybe one of the best coaches, like I don't know, situations, like not some major game or whatever Furia was playing, for example, with their coach. That big tournament, but overall, like playing few tournaments, doing pretty fine as coach. That's some big bravo you need to get. Applauses or some shit. It's pretty decent. Respect to that.
Yeah, I think we've spoken about him a couple of times recently,
Yeah.
Ryan. And look, he's done the job that he needs to, right? They've made a roster change. They brought Zero in, and he doesn't need to play anymore. But I think in the time that he was there, he helped them achieve quite a bit. And we'll have to see what Sinners look like coming out of the break, because I think that will probably be your most competition team, right? Like out of all
Yeah,
the teams in this scene, Sinners is probably going to be the one that is the most difficult to beat.
yeah, kind of.
Anybody else? I mean, there isn't too much to look at here, Ryan.
Nah.
We saw that Dynamo Eklot was playing with Fleeve and Boris as a couple of stand-ins, so maybe trying to get some international players over. What do you think about these sort of teams getting more EU players? Obviously, you're on a Czech team with EU players, but quite a lot of these
You're
other
asking me?
teams don't have that.
We're talking about the Czech scene or just
About the
overall?
Czech scene, like getting a few
Yeah.
EU players and not just being full Czech.
I think it's pretty sad, first of all, because it talks that they don't have good players. It's pretty sad. And the other thing is, yeah, if it's needed, like if obviously you don't have good players to fill, you get some good players outside. And yeah, I would still stick that the best thing is like to talk the native language. It's huge advantage. But it is what it is. Like if you don't have the players in that level to fill the slots, like to get 5 good players or whatever you want to create a team, you get some good players outside, as for example Enterprise did, and I don't know if some other guys from the Czech teams are doing. And yeah, because there are many like free agents who will get in there, like for example in any of these teams they're gonna play the enemy. For example, this Entropic Prague, I think you said, played with Fleef and Borus, and like it should be like, I don't know, they should be like running over them, Borus and Fleef, because y- yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe
So
it's something that
so
we.
it's like pros and cons.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see it out of the player break, Ryan. Like a few more of these
Yeah.
teams trying to dip their toes. Like I know in Tropic Prague, they've done that with a few EU players. They got Horvey as a coach actually, which is kind of surprising because he used to be quite a known name in the Brazilian scene as a player, and also played in quite a few EU lineups. I'm not too familiar with everybody else on the team. I mean, Twist, I think he played on Asuba for a little bit, so he's probably the most known player on that team. But yeah, overall, just another one of these sort of Czech tournaments. There seems to be quite a few of these hanging around, and Han on his best day gets to play them all the time.
Stop joking about this. They're gonna take
Yeah,
it personal. Maybe they won't invite us or some shit because of it.
yeah, he
But
loves them.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's pretty great thing that this scene has. I think is big thing. The CS in the
Yeah,
this place, Czechia, Slovakia. It's great. I would say so many tournaments. It makes the game develop. Like it only helps. For example, we don't have this in Bulgaria. Like we have a lot of good players, but we don't have tournaments.
I think
So
we're the same, Ryan.
Yeah. Agreed.
yeah, it's pretty important thing just for the guys to have motivation, to have like
Yeah.
a reasonable goal, because
Mm.
major and shit like this is the best motivation, but it's so far. You need to start from somewhere, and those local things, I think it's like so fucking good for the development and overall motivation for players. To start from somewhere to see, okay, there is a thing I could do, so I can like maybe I know uh get through the years or whatever. I don't know. Like it's good to have tournaments overall.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I mean, I think it's what a lot of small countries in Europe or even across the world could probably take in mind. I mean, in the UK, I mean, we could say, Ryan, that we feel as if we've got some good players and some good teams, but we don't have the events behind it. And Harm was sort of saying about Bulgaria as well. I think what the Czech scene is doing, they ran a LAN to a few months ago, I think the Apex were there with like a lot of the Czech, Slovakian teams as well. They run a lot of events from that sort of region. And it's got to be great for the player base, and even just to have that prize pool behind them to just kind of help develop and nurture some of the younger squads.
Yeah. I think the only LANs we have in the UK, obviously, excepting Epic LAN and iSeries, back in the day we had ESL Prem, the finals at LAN, didn't we? Like, that's the only other event I can think of that we had.
Gfinity.
Like, oh, yeah, I guess then maybe as well. But even then, like, both of those don't happen anymore, you know?
Yep.
And so we're at BYOC level. So if any man with oil money or anything wants to do a UK LAN, let us know and we'll gladly take one.
Don't hesitate, guys.
Yeah. One other thing I did want to talk about was ReTr00 in that event, right? They actually went all the way through to the semi-finals. They beat Moops, they beat Entropic Prague. They obviously then went against Enterprise and lost 2-0. But even then, they put 13 rounds on both maps that they played. So a special heads up to them. I think Kinzo and Max played for like Sampi, and I think the other one played for like GCZ Bulls. Like, we don't have a wealth of experience in this ReTr00 side, but we have a scene or a team here that is very relatively new to the scene, had a pretty deep run, got top 4 at an event that probably shouldn't have, looking at the other names. So yeah, I'd say fair play to them. But I guess if we want to move on to the PARI WHITE NIGHT LAN,
they're rocking these names, aren't they?
What is this?
Yeah, so
it sounds really cool. But what is this?
It's basically 8 team into GSL format into single elim playoff bracket. It's not.
But it's like international or some country.
No. So
it
here
was
we
the
go.
Russian one.
It's a Russian.
Oh,
LAN, yeah.
I remember this. I've watched a bit of the final.
I think we'll have a look at the teams, and I think you can quite quickly guess who won the event.
Yeah, I have checked. I have checked the tournament. Now I know who won
Yeah.
the event. It was like, I would say, unexpected, because you have K23 and shit like this.
Exactly.
Whatever. But yeah, I saw. I watched a bit even of the final. I saw the tournament. It's pretty cool thing, It's another, like, again, like with the Czech scene thing, for example, they're casting local tournament, and it's good for every fucking thing, about the CS.
Yes.
And I remember watching even like the studio, or I don't know, Net Cafe, whatever it is, they were playing it. It looks so cool, It's like in the old days, like you're going to Net Cafe, you have like just local tournament. It looks like really old school, just like the designs of PC and shit like this was the other difference. And you have prize pool, which is great. I guess 10K, I think it was for first place, I'm not sure. But yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I watched a bit of
10K
it.
together,
Yeah, I watched a bit of it, and I agree with h4rn. I mean, the setup actually looks pretty good.
It looks sick, bro. I would have loved playing there.
Yeah, there wasn't an English stream, unfortunately, but overall, I mean, Indie IRA go as a full mix. I think they normally are kind of mixing from when we saw them at the RMR, which was like last year. So that roster sort of always comes in and out. They had Lackey and Nickelback playing, and they won the whole thing. It was a very good final as well. Best of 5, went all 3 maps, had some OTs, went 16-14s. K23 choked a massive lead on Nuke. I mean,
I remember. I didn't watch it even, but I read in Twitter.
They were 14-6 up on the
bro,
last
that's
map.
6 for sure. That's 6 for sure. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that does hurt. Yeah, I don't know. Like it was one of these events where there's a couple of unknown teams, right? I think.
Yeah, I think that there is not any team, not any actual team. I'm not sure about this one, but I think so, because even K23 there with some stand-ins or whatever. Yeah,
I think the only one is the old one-shot team, which is Take Aim Gaming. I think they're like the only actual team.
Yeah, let me see what they did. They got destroyed or what?
No, they got to the semi-finals, and they lost to Indie IRA.
Yeah, but Indie, whatever it is pronounced, it's pretty cool mix, You have Nickelback, Lucky, good players, Davcost, experienced as fuck, Chiron, heavy shooter. It's cool, and I really enjoyed it. Maybe because of this, because they're like not a single team. It's just some good players grouped up playing some local tournament. It's so cool. I don't know. I really love this.
Man, even Dima is a pro Valorant player, and he's just decided to come to
Yeah.
LAN and try and
Yeah,
see if he can
exactly.
try
It's
and
so
see if he
cool,
can
I
get a
swear.
few wins.
Respect the hustle, mate. We respect the hustle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when you look at the teams we have here, like K23, you would argue is a notch above everyone else. And the point I was going to make heading into this event, we have Problem that comes from India Ire, plays for K23, and then loses, like in the grand finals, 3-2, bit disappointing. But you are right, like India Ire do a really good job this LAN. The nuke game especially, as you can see, 11-4 up K23 on their CT side, and then lose the game 16-14.
Yeah, it must feel really bad.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. But yeah, I think this event, there's not much more to talk about really, other than I think the grand final is the only thing we could really discuss about. Hey, the fact that India Ire they do so well. Fair play to them.
Yeah.
Best of 5 as well. It's pretty cool, entertaining for a tournament like this. Maybe I don't know where this came from. That best of 5 is boring or too hard. Bro, it's so
Probably
fucking good, I
h4rn,
would
mate.
say.
He loves a good rant about.
Did he do that? What the
I
fuck?
think he said like, oh, you hate a best of 5 until there's a good best of 5 or something like that. Like I remember his tweet and it was like, dude, like what? I love a BO5, but
do you know
Yeah, it's
what as
great
well,
also.
Ryan? We
Go
could
on.
say is that both of the semi-finals are on the same day as the best of 5 grand final. So that was one hell of a long day to play
Yes,
a
yeah.
best of 3 and then a best of 5 that goes all 5 maps.
Full gaming day.
Yeah, literally. That's proper old school. So yeah, that was a pretty cool event.
It's like Epic LAN, mate. You play like 5 BO3s in a day, don't you? If you make the lower bracket runs. So we're used to it. Well, not me personally, but yeah, we know about it. I think we could talk about SEL a bit.
Yeah, we can do.
I'm a big fan of SEL.
Tell me why, Ryan.
It's a competitor to ESEA, right? I think it's quite obvious what they're trying to do. Just basically taking the fight to ESEA. And I like it. I think actually the events are quite good. For the entry fee to the prize pool that they have. I'm really happy with this event, in all honesty. If you didn't know as well, they have 4 divisions. The public division, which is kind of like open. They have intermediate, they have masters, and then they have challenger. And I think challenger is always going to be their top division. And then obviously if you go further down, in the public division, for example, if you win public, you get invited to masters. If you come 2nd to 6th, you get intermediate. You get the idea, right? So
Yeah.
it kind of like cascades in that order. But
It's only for UK or what?
No,
Because
it's
ain't
EU.
ain't like after Challenger or Premium or MDL, whatever it was, it's like a Pro League or what?
No.
Maybe
So
just mistaken.
this is separate. This is like a completely different thing.
Okay,
They
so
just
I have actually zero idea about this.
yeah. There you go. So yeah, it's literally EU event. Any team can play. CIS, EU. You know, it's whatever. But
How can we play this?
it's online. You sign up. It's like you pay per player, and you just play.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
See
we'll see
you
Enterprise
next
in it next
season.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. There you go. We heard it here. We're seeing Enterprise. They're playing. No, but I think this is actually really cool for multiple reasons. Obviously, us, Dweg, we're going to be big fans of Eco and One Pin playing.
Of course.
But on top of that as well, we actually have like fairly respectable level of teams. This is like main advanced level teams playing against each other. The prize pool, again, it's probably not as much as advanced, 3K for first place, but there's a lot less games that you play. It's just a single elim bracket for the playoffs. You play, I think it's like you play like 9 or 10 games in regular season, so it's a lot more condensed as well. Like you play a lot of games and then there's a bit of a break and then you go again. Obviously, we don't have the group stage to hand, but how this is seeded, I think the top half of round 16, it went in that order, and then it goes from bottom to top in the other way round. So it's kind of seeded like 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15. You get the idea. Something I did want to point out immediately, been keeping track of this event, Eco getting knocked out in a 25-23 map 1. That was painful. But other than that, like, we actually have a pretty good tournament here.
Yeah, look, I think One Pin had a really rough draw. Like, you're playing Iron Branch, like, those guys are decent. You've got Sensei on that team, like, he's going to hit bloody hard. He's a very good AWPer. So, you know you're going to be up against a tough CIS squad there. They beat QZA in the first round, Ryan, and that was the team that was at the RMR, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, the Eastern qualifier, like the
The Far East, wasn't
Far
it?
East quali. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty cool to see that they beat them, obviously. But yeah, they did get knocked out. Another name that I want to talk about, we just hit fucking everywhere. VP Prodigy, like again in this event. Obviously against Zero Tenacity, that was a pretty close BO3. Zero Tenacity, I think, are advanced team or like a high main team. And then obviously playing this Bax esports side, which I'm looking at the team. I have no clue who any of these guys are. But again, it's probably like another CIS team that just fucking plus W's at people.
Bluefire's there.
And then playing Iron Branch and getting... Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you can guess that Vertigo was their pick and Dust2 certainly wasn't. But yeah, all in all, Iron Branch winning this event, pretty simple stuff.
Yeah,
Who is playing for them except Sensei? It's some of the
For Iron
rest of
Branch,
his teammates.
Yeah, Jokey's there as well, isn't he?
yeah,
and then-
so it's Sensei, Jackie, Kvem, Sad, Masval, Psycho's their coach.
Like, who is the coach? What the fuck?
Psycho, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just for this event. I
then-
don't think he actually is their coach.
Maybe he will just stand in and listen
he's
to
their
the
coach, apparently.
I don't know.
Yeah. So he is their
Ah.
coach. I coached Akuma
He's-
lads and Project X, so there you go.
Yeah,
that's-
no, he used to play for them, so that's
Oh,
maybe
yes,
it's just
yeah,
a new thing.
yeah. Sorry, yeah, you are right.
Understandable.
There you go. Bang. Done. Anything else to add on for this one, Dweg?
Well, I think they got quite a bit of HLTV coverage. Unfortunately, it was only from the semi-finals onwards, which meant
Yes.
we didn't get to see One Ping and Eco on HLTV, because that could have actually helped like the ranking a
points.
bit and getting some
Mm.
points and everything. But that's a little
Yeah.
bit unfortunate. Have you seen anything from the UK teams, Han, of Eco or One Pin? You familiar with them?
I think I have heard about one pin, but I don't know if it was from match or some Twitter joke. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully
but
for
I,
the match.
I have heard. Yeah, hopefully. But I know those guys Muya was playing for into the breed.
ITB,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe you know eCUP's Fanbit then. Maybe you know Fanbit rather than
Yeah,
Eco.
I have heard about those Fanbit.
Yeah.
I think I have watched something. Maybe you were interviewing some of them or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah,
play
yeah.
they play a bit like Furia, to be honest. It's aggressive.
Yeah, I
it's
think
fast.
I only know about them because you like maybe long time ago you were like sharing or writing about them something, Dweg, and from there,
There you
Yeah,
go.
they're a good team. I think they've obviously faced roster changes recently. I mean, Volt going to Fnatic
yeah,
Rising.
I wish them best of luck. I don't know.
Yeah, we like that. We're getting some Bulgarian love for the
Love
UK teams, right? Yeah.
No,
We need
it's
it, we
it's
need it.
basically for everyone except
For
like
everyone.
people who try to talk
Everyone's
shit
getting
to me, you
love.
know? Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, this wraps up. Yeah, ESEA. I've got nothing else to add.
Other than Enterprise are playing and winning next season by the sound of things. That's the only other thing we've gathered. We could talk about season 41 relegation a bit, maybe. That's an
can
event
do.
you wanted to touch on a bit now that that's fully done and dusted.
Yes.
For those maybe at home that don't know, we do love a bit of ESEA. Obviously, it's now rebranded to Challenger League. That's obviously, Han, you were saying earlier what ESEA Premier is. They've obviously rebranded. Relegation, it's brutal. It is harsh. You just play so much Counter-Strike. You've got
To
win.
be honest,
Go on.
I reckon that relegation is like easier than advanced
Well,
players.
well,
it's
okay,
pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
taking-
You
I'm
have like
taking
lower
this-
bracket and shit.
I'm taking this in regards to straight after advanced playoffs. You're playing relegation,
yeah,
right?
the level of
So-
teams as well.
So you're playing like 6 games of advanced playoffs. So like 6 BO3s, and then straight afterwards you're
True.
into relegation, which is again, if you're coming from upper bracket round 2, it's 3 BO3s. From upper bracket round 1 to lower, you're still playing 3 BO3s. And we can see Forza, K23, BNE, Finest. There's some stacked rosters in this season of, of
there.
relegation. Never mind the actual main event. Talk about K23 as a team. Not playing with anyone from Indie IRA in this one, so I guess it was just a bit of a meme at LAN. Don't know what's going on there, lads. Obviously we've got Forza as well. Ungentium is a name that we talked about earlier on. Dynamo Eklot in the mixer as well. But we've got Sangal, who face changes. Obviously used to be a full Turkish lineup, and Soulflow was the only one there, I think, from the original.
Yeah, I
Basically-
remember, but they did it long time ago, no?
Yeah, it was a pretty long
Been
time
a
ago.
few months,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just before the RMRs, right? Because they had like the dream run
Something
in the
like
RMR.
that.
Like in a quali, they like qualified for an
Mm.
RMR or something. I don't know, but yeah, definitely ran deep on one of the events. And then obviously
Yeah,
we've
did
got
it.
BNE, Forza. You can quite quickly see who wins in this bracket. Surprises me that BNE get knocked down to lowers by Forza in round 1, but yeah, just sets the scene quite nicely for season 42.
I really do feel for Sangal. If you can bring up their results, actually, Ryan, to actually look at the score lines, because
Against Ungentium, right?
yeah, so they had a very close map. What is it? Map 2 and map 3, and then against
Yeah.
EC Kiev in the lower bracket round 1.
Good
Like,
God,
fuck! Look at
man.
even that last map. So they had a very tight 2 best-of-3s back-to-back to go out in last place. So they'll be disappointed there. Obviously, knowing that we just spoke about SEL, they got to the grand final and now don't even win a series, even though they are quite competitive. Dynamo Eclot, I mean, we could obviously say that making top 5 in advance is like pretty good to be able to get into this position.
Yeah.
It's experience against top-level squads. I mean, playing Finest and playing BNE, and actually taking a map off BNE and literally almost 2-0ing. You think about the way that they won on Inferno and it goes OT on Mirage. Imagine BNE losing to Eclot and then just going out entirely and not even having an opportunity to get back to ECL.
Yeah, that was massive. I don't think BNE have ever been in ECL. Well, they were Blink, obviously, but
Yeah,
but
not
yeah,
as BNE.
This would be the first for them to actually like get there. So yeah, you are right. Like that could have been massive for all the wrong reasons. Obviously, they beat Ungentium anyway to get there. Finest, they're doing Finest things. Did get knocked to the lowers by Forza, and I wanted to bring up this conversation a little bit, obviously, having a look at what we were going to talk about. Forza surprised me every time, man. Like, they're a team that I expect to middle out. You can see they came from Advanced last season. Do you expect them to beat BNE 2-0 and then Finest 2-1? Especially, obviously, maybe not so much Finest because we saw a bit of a dip after the Pinnacle Championship from them. But to take BNE down 2-0 and BNE to get, well, it admittedly, Stickle was standing
Coach,
in.
wasn't it?
But
yeah.
you've got 14 rounds total. I think Forza have actually like really surprised me this season. I can't wait to see them in ESL Challenger League.
Yeah, when I casted them in Republic, it was BNE coming out on top in a fairly like competitive game. Like it wasn't super one-sided, but it wasn't super difficult. Nori had a really good series against BNE. Yeah, not normally known as being like one of the top fraggers of the team, but he played really well. So I don't think it's massively surprising, even for Finest. I think they've found a lot of inconsistencies outside of maybe that Pinnacle Cup run. So we'll see what they do outside of the player break and maybe take some time off. But I think all of the teams that we expected to make it through back to ECL did. Like there weren't any upsets when it comes to the placings, at least.
Sure. Anything else to add here, gents, or?
Han, you got anything about any of these teams?
No, I was just listening like story. It was pretty nice to hear.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, like they're pretty good teams, so the results are, I don't know, pretty understandable. I don't know, like everyone can put fight against everyone, is what I mean.
Yeah.
So there is nothing like, oh my god, those guys should have 2-0 or something. Like you see players capable to play, so yeah. And with what's on the line, I think is big motivation. So I'm surprised there is not some pretty huge upsets. I'm not sure like if it says qualified under this Bad News Eagles and Team Finest thing.
Yeah.
But they qualified?
Yes, yeah, they both did.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, it's pretty, in the end, it's what should have been booked, like the tournament, like the places who qualifies and who doesn't, but yeah, nothing like surprising.
You know, it is a bit surprising, Ryan.
Go on.
Some of the teams that played at Challenger Melbourne Closed Qualifier. Should we have a look at that?
Okay, all right. Let's bring up the old Melbourne Closed Qualifier. So, I'm pretty sure this is like ESL Melbourne is not an ESL Challenger event, even though it says it's ESL Challenger, right? It's not like a.
Well, it's separate from ECL,
Yes.
but it's a Challenger event, but it's not like ECL as premier.
It sounds like some DreamHack event. I don't know.
It's
like,
basically DreamHack Open Melbourne. Like that's it's just a rebrand name of it.
Exactly
Sure.
how it actually sounds.
So are we talking about the main event here, or do we want to talk about the?
We're
open
talking
quals a
about the
little bit?
qual. We'll talk about
Okay.
the qual.
I
Yeah.
want to be educated.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll try our best. We'll try our best. I had the pleasure of joining Wix for the opening games of this day, and honestly, it's the gift
Which
that
games
keeps
did
on
you get?
giving. I think I got f4r's formal, and
Yeah,
then
right.
I did. Oh no! I did formal rare atom. No, I must have done K23 NASA.
Yeah.
Rare Atom is those Chinese guys.
Yeah, it's the
The old
it's
the old Vici, isn't it?
yeah, the Chinese team with
I
Carl's
know
Opening as well.
this. I know the roper. He looks pretty good on the clips, but I don't know if enemy is bad or he's just really good.
Kaze's been like a known player for quite a while, to be
Yeah,
fair. In
he looks
local
pretty
scene
good.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know now. I got Forza formal and then the K23 NASA game. So
Oh, nice one.
yeah, it was a really fun day of Counter Strike for me as well as you know people at home watching. Formal actually really surprised me in the game against Rare Atom. Obviously, if you didn't know who Formal are, it's like we've got Pulse, Power, Crowny. I think Pulse
What
came
the fuck?
from. He came from Touch the Crown, right? Power came from Touch the Crown. Crowny
Sounds
came
about
from
right.
like Penta or like one of the German orgs. Like this is like a shit show of a team, but they kind of like okay.
Yeah, no disrespect, of course.
We'll
but
talk
what the
about
heck?
the Entropic game in just a minute because I'm not sure if you guys know the story about this Entropic game. By your faces, I'm guessing no.
Yeah, I think I heard something like it. Yeah.
Well, okay, we'll talk about it then. So we actually had 12 rounds of Counter-Strike here. Let me quickly cut back so I can show you the HLTV of this.
Okay.
So we had a.
Oh, I remember watching it.
We
Like,
had
stinking.
we had a pretty good matchup here. As you can see, it's a default win. And you look at the reason here. Formal forfeit the match 111 score on the first map in favour of Entropic due to a power outage. But it turns out one of the Formal players left, like shut the PC down, walked away, didn't connect, and they forfeit the series because of it.
Interesting.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, you're getting destroyed and you're like some mix or something. Probably the guy just didn't give a fuck. He thought it's over.
Yeah.
Enough,
See you
like,
later.
Yeah,
enough for shaming and wasting my time.
fair enough.
Like,
Could be. I mean,
like you're not playing in org, bro. You don't care.
I don't
I
know
guess.
how NASA and Formal came through the open quals. Like, obviously, they're both mixers. Jury and Aben, like, I've seen them guys before. I know they play a lot of FPL, or might be FPLC, actually, those two. But I remember them with, like, Palmy, like, the three-core
Yeah,
Swedes
yeah.
had been around for a while. Some of the other guys, Denim, I think I've seen once, Denium, but I can't really remember the last time.
I don't know, bro. Some random Germans, it looks really shady, you know?
Yeah. I don't know how they made open quals.
Yeah.
So the fact that they even come in, the fact that they beat Rare Atom, I don't know how I look at that, Ryan, because for Rare Atom, they just played at Valencia and they made playoffs, and they're a team that, okay, like it's gonna be tough when you're playing in Asia all the time and you don't have the opportunity to come to Europe. But you shouldn't be losing to a team like
What
that.
was the result? What was the result of their game? Like,
It was 16-11 to Rare Atom on Overpass, and they lost 16-12 and 16-6.
They got owned really against a mixed team, which shouldn't really
Yeah.
happen, to be honest. Not for
But-
a caliber squad like this.
but you don't know, bro. It's no disrespect to players if they grind hard, great. But it's some random Germans I haven't heard. Never.
They're just
about
unreal.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talents,
I
mate.
don't know. I'm just throwing it. It's
Yeah. Well, I think overall, Entropic, this is probably the first positive sign in a while, I'd want
Yeah,
to say, Ryan.
yeah.
Because
I don't know what happened with them though.
Yeah, they had a really good last year. I think they had a very good early start of this year. So January and February looked really good. And then I think what they've struggled with is that bridge to tier 1. I think they're always very
Yeah.
good in tier 2. They always do very well in the online events. But when they go to Pro League and when they go into like tier 1 tournaments, they have that struggle against top caliber squads. And I think a roster change had to happen to maybe bridge that barrier to go a little bit further. And bringing in Mir, I don't know how Mir didn't even find another team. Like, once he's off Spirit, I thought it was like a week and he was going to get picked up. Instead, it's a few months. He finally comes into the team. I think it's been slow. Like, I don't think the results have shown itself immediately, but this looks very good. And I honestly think going into Melbourne, they're probably the favorite team. Like, they could probably win the whole thing.
Who are the qualified teams for this.
Oh, we could look at that,
Yeah,
actually.
we'll have a little
Yeah.
look at the team. So here in the overview, I think we're still waiting on one team. Yeah, we're still waiting on one team to get invited. OG
With this
Imperial.
Vertex,
Uh,
Vertex or whatever it is.
Vertex came from Oceania, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Wings Up obviously from Asia. I had the pleasure of watching the Asian qualies. That was a really fun event.
Are they
once
good?
more.
Are they good?
I don't know, mate. It's kind of like watching cheese melt, you know. Like it's not
Watching what?
bad. Cheese melt. It's not. I tell a lie. It wasn't like bad Counter Strike. Like if you look in the Asian quali, like real quick, I'll just bring it up. Like they beat IHC 2-0.
Yeah,
Like,
that's surprising.
That's a big result for them when they come
Yeah.
from
The
lowers.
walkout best team. This
Yeah,
IHC.
IHC were the team.
But they were in
that-
the major, weren't
the
they?
major, yeah.
Yeah,
So they were
yeah.
the team that came from the major. They got the invite. Wings Up Gaming were actually seeded third in this event over under YK and over Mongols. And then they 2-0 from the lower bracket. They literally
They
go on an
2-0
invincible
everyone.
run. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty cool to see the story. Obviously, we have Order from the world rankings. I'm guessing they get that slot because it's a Melbourne event, and obviously they just want a bit more Aussie blood in there. And then obviously we've got EG, but this is the EGPA team rather than EGEG. Obviously, Entropic come from the EU qualifier. OG accepted their invite. Imperial accepted their invite. We're still waiting on the last. We don't know who that's going to be yet. But I don't think it matters, honestly, who's going to get this invite. I think we're expecting...
Yeah, but if it's gonna be world ranking, it's gonna be some top team, so it's
It's
gonna
going to be a
good.
decent team.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, true. I guess, hold on, does it... If I click this, does it actually take
Probably
us to
like
the world
Movistar
ranking
or something?
page? Yeah, here we go.
It'd be just under
So,
Imperial.
Under
Big chance to
Imperial,
be Movistar.
Fnatic, maybe.
Yeah,
Fnatic
MIBR,
could-
Fnatic.
Forza, but they played the quali, didn't they? So I'm not sure if they can get an invite.
Doubt they're gonna get. I think it would be like from top 15 under, or I don't know.
Was
from
going to
top
be
20
under Imperial because
Yeah.
outsiders
Yeah.
decided not to take it.
Yeah,
So-
so it was OG that got the first invite, they accepted. Outsiders got the second, they declined, and so it just falls down the order basically until a team accepts. Whether we see,
Yeah.
I don't know. Pain only have 3 players. I'm not sure if they're
Nah,
might
I
be
them.
them,
doubt, I doubt it's gonna be a team from.
I would
this
like to see
21 30.
Finest maybe in the mix.
Yeah,
Possibly.
it depends on who
That's-
wants to go.
Yeah,
Because it's
but-
just after the player break, isn't it?
Yeah, but then also another thing is like, is this like just before or just after the RMR qualifiers or like the Rio qualifiers? Like,
Ooh, yes,
I'm wondering
true.
if the dates overlap in any way. I'll actually
They
come back
don't.
to this.
There are well, it's September. When do we know when the RMR quals are?
The like the day that the player break ends, like the official day.
Yeah,
that
so
the player
there
break
might be
ends.
there might be a bit of time in between then, so it should be okay.
Yeah, maybe, but then do you reckon there's going to be teams that decline to focus on the major? So we'll see. We'll see. There's definitely a lot
Yeah,
to
possibly.
talk about.
Yeah.
Overall,
But,
it looks like pretty cool tournament. You have some, I don't know, Asia, Oceania, or whatever.
that-
like,
yeah, it's like a
it-
nice
it's cool.
mix. Nice mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool to have like opportunities for them, even though I really hate that they get on majors and shit and they just get destroyed. It's really sad, but it's cool to have this option, opportunity, or whatever. Yeah. So it's gonna be a cool tournament. I would like to play it. We even had like invite when we were with Fiend for this. I guess it was like this, but the name was Anaheim or something. I don't know if I pronounce it.
Yeah,
Ah,
that
yeah.
sounds about
Yeah.
Anaheim, yeah.
Yeah, bro, I was looking forward to play. It was said that it's gonna be a LAN or something, but we just got in top 20 and we disbanded. So I guess we just thought it's enough. Let's start again from scratch. We did our job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool tournament.
Nice.
That could be cool. I mean, especially for an Aussie audience, they haven't had an event for quite a while. Obviously, IM Sydney's were going every year, and then they tried to do IM Melbourne, but then COVID hit, and then obviously that hasn't happened. So this is the first
Yeah.
event. It's a little bit disappointing because obviously IM Melbourne or IM Sydney is a much larger event than like a challenger, but at the same time, you can't pick and choose, can
Yeah.
you? When you don't have them, anything is good.
Maybe it's like to test the waters maybe as well to see if they
maybe.
can bring back an IEM Sydney or you know the old ESL ones theories. I know they've got rid of, but you know to fit it back in,
Something
make
like
it more
that.
part of the calendar. Just test the
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah.
see what the numbers are like, and see the crowd's still there or whatever. It'd be pretty cool. But
I
I
hope
we
it
get-
goes
go on.
great. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I was going to say I hope it goes well, and it'll be nice to see if the
Yeah.
Aussie lads get the chance, the Aussie casters to get the
On
chance
s-
again.
Oh, they should do.
They-
I would imagine so.
Yeah, because I think the last time they did an event probably would have been
Well, they do ESL, AU, and NZ champs, so they do that
Yeah.
in studio. But like the last big event, well, they did Dallas, I think, on the B stream or the C
Yes,
stream.
I was gonna say Dallas B stream, but before
Yeah.
that we had like one Aussie event, didn't we? And it was like a, was it? Yeah, Dallas B stream, maybe one before that as well. But and again, it would be nice to see those
yeah.
lads obviously like take part in that. I think we can move to the interesting part. It's the one word part. I think maybe Dweg, if you want to jump in on it with Han here, and
Yeah.
you can be a part of the one word answers. So the idea is
Okay.
for those at home is basically we're going to be pulling up all of the teams in ESEA Advanced, and the two gentlemen to my right. Basically, they have to say to us or tell you at home who is going to be making playoffs and who isn't. They get a yes, a no, a maybe, or a could. Maybe there's like another word that they can throw in there, like absolutely not, or like, you know, if you really want to disrespect them in any way, then, you know,
No,
sky's
I
the
don't
limit,
want to
lads.
disrespect any.
But we'll pull up the list now. We've got groups of 5, so I guess we can just run through them all here. One word answers. If you want to explain, if you think there's any reason as to why, you know, you're gonna say no to a team that everyone else would think they should, then let us know why. But we'll jump straight into it. Ungentium.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. All right. I said yes as well. Yep.
All right, happy.
If they find their game.
Yeah, very true. eCUP?
I know everything seems like yes.
Well, to be fair, we are sorting in the teams that came from relegation. So
I'd say yes as well for them.
Dynamo at Clot.
Yes, I guess. I don't know.
I'd go
they seem
maybe,
like...
actually.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Sangal.
Maybe.
Apex, but we don't know the two players, so
Yeah, it's got to
Yeah.
be no.
I would say they should, but I don't know if they're gonna make it. Like, I think Apex is like a team which is supposed to pass
Yeah.
the East through those things, you know?
All right.
Like, you have Jacob, Stiko.
Maybe
So-
between a no and a maybe for them, because we don't know the lineup, do we, Ryan? Like,
Yeah,
maybe we
exactly.
can talk about it later when we know the last couple. I thought Hooksy might have gone over towards that team. Maybe he still does try and pick up
Oh,
the
it's
in-game
quite
leadership
possible.
there.
What the fuck? I
What's that?
haven't thought about it. It's quite possible. I was
Yeah?
recently thinking where he gonna go, and it seems like the most reasonable option going there.
Skade.
Yes, I hope so.
I'd say yes as well. They've got to be a favourite to not only make playoffs, but to go deep. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
think they just have to be.
recently they were like losing from some shit teams.
Yeah, they've
it's
been a little
pretty
bit
random.
inconsistent.
Yeah,
ITB. Obviously, they've just got Rusty and Draken. Bear that in mind.
maybe.
I'd say maybe as well. Like, I'd like to say yes, do you know what I mean, Ryan? But because we haven't seen Rusty
Yeah.
and Draken play officials with ITB, you can't be that confident. You can't just say
Nah.
yes off
Yeah,
the back. I
absolutely.
think they could. So I'd put them as maybe. But again,
maybe.
we've got to see what Rusty and Draken can do.
Big Academy.
I don't know. Maybe they have Kaito. Or
Maybe as
yeah,
well.
they still have.
Yeah, I think maybe.
VP Prodigy.
I know I saw them on some decent tournaments, so they should be good. So it's maybe again.
I'd say maybe.
I reckon this is a should. Actually. Lads.
Yeah, could.
Well,
I think in recent
nah.
form, like you got to think the events that we were just talking about earlier, pretty decent runs. I'd like to see this team in playoffs. Whether it is just a round one and done kind of thing, I think actually this team has what it takes to make playoffs. Maybe I'll eat my own words and look like an idiot, but we'll roll with it. Namiga.
Maybe. More
Don't
like
even know.
no, but maybe.
I was going to say Namega's dropped their entire lineup. So I don't know
Really?
if these guys are just playing like to play the season out or what their situation is, but I think they have to be a maybe because these guys were insane like last year.
Yeah.
But there has been quite a big drop for Namega ever since Lollipop 21K left, pretty much. Once he left the team, it has been rough. So I don't even know if they're going to play this season, Ryan. Like they might just drop out.
All right. B8s.
Understandable.
I'd say maybe.
I mean, every team looks like maybe. I don't know how to say no because every team has chance there since they're here, I guess. But yeah, it's maybe.
Masonic.
I think it has
those
to be
guys,
yes.
Yeah, I think yes. I'm pretty impressed once again by this team. Not any certain player, but by this team, you know.
1 pin.
Maybe.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, is he saying no? Is he saying no?
I don't know. I don't know them, but you know, I just said that basically everyone is maybe since they're here and they're few
Yeah.
years. Yeah, so it's maybe.
Sure. Avant-Garde. This is the
They're
old...
probably a maybe. That's a new looking lineup, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it's the 100 ping gods that have now
Core
moved over
100
with a couple of
PG.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe again. I mean, it's a bit towards no here because I
Yeah.
think those guys, if they play against some, for example, Skate, I think they're gonna lose just because the pressure. I don't know. I feel like this team is like good team, but they have problem with the pressure.
Sure. XGTZ Bulls.
No.
Yeah, it's no here.
Entropic Prague.
No.
No.
Woolsung.
No.
No.
Iron Branch.
Maybe.
Maybe.
FTW.
No.
Maybe
I don't know.
as well. Like they did qualify for EPL, so I have to give them some
Really?
credit that they're going to get advanced playoffs here.
Okay. So maybe it's
Tricks
maybe.
with Lucky Back.
I'd say yes, to be honest.
I would say maybe. Because, you know, we have so much maybes and yes, and when
Yeah.
this team clash, there is nothing like sure.
Royals.
No.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They've just made changes. haven't they?
Come on, Ryan. You got to have some
I
support.
I love the lads. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love this team. Like, you know, but yeah, I don't. I think the lads will know themselves. Like this season's gonna be hard. Again, you've made changes, so yeah. No, I don't think they've got it this season at least. They'll probably keep their spot though. Anonymo.
Who is the upper here? Is this Fly guy or whatever it is? I can't like see it.
On Royals?
No, on Animo.
Anonymo.
Anonymous, yeah.
It
Because,
might be. I mean, Innocent doesn't AWP, Oscarich doesn't AWP, Demo
Yeah.
doesn't AWP, and nor does Veggie. So I think it has to be Flare.
Yeah. I don't know. It's maybe, I guess.
I'd say
like,
maybe for this team.
Yeah, it's close to yes, but I don't know who this guy is.
Impression.
No.
No,
X Offset.
no,
No.
Blink.
no,
No.
Nexus.
no,
No.
Eyeballers.
maybe,
I think maybe.
LDLC.
maybe.
This could be the one with Amanek. So I'm
Yeah,
looking
but
at this one because they could be rebuilding the lineup. I'm not sure when rosters close for advance. I don't know if you know, Han. Like,
It's
No,
you
I
can you can change rosters midway through the season.
right.
But the season starts in 3 weeks. So
Okay.
keep that in mind. But yeah, Amanek was signed by LDLC, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, officially.
I'll say no for now until maybe
Yeah,
they get a
exactly.
stronger lineup.
Exactly.
All right. X Coalesce.
No. They can't
No.
even be playing this season, can they?
They can as a team, but
I mean,
not,
they
not...
can, but will they?
Well, yes, it's a very good question. No Limit Gaming.
No.
No.
Incelo.
No.
I have no idea who these guys are, so I just have to say
same.
no.
Koana.
No.
I would say
it's
maybe.
maybe. Yeah, it's maybe, it's maybe.
I think they've got a very good chance. Like, if they can play with their full 5, and maybe we look at that last result, the 1x bet, as being like a bit of a one-off, like it's player break. I think that they're a maybe to make playoffs.
Neon Rangers.
No.
iNation.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Websters.
Who is this?
I know Killmatic, and that's it.
I would say maybe. No. Sorry, I don't even
Yeah,
know that.
I'm saying no on them.
XDDDDD.
No.
No.
Enterprise.
It's maybe for me, but like honest opinion, you know. But for personal, it's like big shoot. Like we should make it, you know. For me
Yeah.
as a player in this team, but overall, I would say maybe because there are some pretty good teams. Maybe we lose, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd say yes. Like, again, it does come down to the draw. Sometimes you just get a very good draw with the best of one. Sometimes you face some tough teams, and scheduling can sometimes be a little bit difficult. But even though you guys didn't make playoffs last season, I think you came close. Like, you were 1 win away.
Yeah.
So should make playoffs.
It should be. I mean, we were like 3-0 when I joined, so it was like a big disadvantage, and we were still 1 game away. So yeah, whatever,
Take Aim Gaming.
maybe.
Say yes. Like, they really could, because those are the X1 shot guys, and they're not half bad. They're a pretty decent
Yeah.
team. They're in between yes and maybe for me, Ryan.
You want to should then?
Yeah, well, in the middle. I'll probably say maybe then. Put them
Alright.
as maybe.
X Gamer.
No.
No.
Indie Ire.
Mm, I know that this lineup is not the lineup they're gonna play, so I don't even know. But I would say maybe they're like whatever players they have, it should be like decent team, you know, or not shit at least.
Yeah, they're always going to be able to pull some decent players. So
Yeah.
I'd say maybe for them as well.
NASA.
No.
Almeza in the mix.
No.
To be fair, I didn't even know that you play for NASA. So.
I don't know what is going
I
on with
think
this lineup.
it was just like stand in for some tournament. I don't know though, but yeah.
Does Boros go back? No, fair enough. Dark Tigers.
No.
No.
Honoris.
No.
No.
EC Brugger.
No.
No.
Genk.
No. I don't even know the
No.
left
Yeah,
team.
No.
it's a no
Yeah.
from me. Yeah, I was gonna say X00 Prospects.
No. No, it's possible actually.
Yeah,
But
I
I
would
don't
say
know.
maybe.
I think
'Cause
they switch players or just
do we know what their new lineup looks like, Ryan?
No, we have no clue. So obviously the X00 Prospect. This isn't 00 Prospects. This is the team that was 00 Prospects. They're still a team now. They lost one of their players. It's not going to be the new 00 Prospects lineup though.
Oh, so it's not going to be the Little Mix
no,
boys.
No. It
Oh,
won't
okay,
be.
so
Because
then
they
it's
don't get
probably
they
no.
don't get the spot.
Right.
Arc Red.
it's maybe
No.
no. I had
Never.
cool one before against those guys.
Never FPL.
No.
No.
SC Esports.
I mean, I don't even know the rest of the teams except these alternate attacks. So, no, I
But
would
yeah,
say.
we'll probably say no for a few of them. We probably
Yeah.
could do that. I mean, I would put.
Do you wanna? Here, maybe I'll do this. Let me
Yeah.
scroll down, show you the
Yeah.
list, and then like if there's any teams here that you think will, maybe the alternate attacks.
Yeah, because we're getting into the bottom teams now.
Yeah.
Need Doctor. What do you think about them, Han?
Once again, who is playing there? I mean, I know
there you
it's
go.
my ex-teammates. Okay, so it's a maybe. Like, I really hope it's yes. Like overall, they do it, but it's a maybe, and even it's close to no. It's just how I think, you know, without personal feelings, because those guys, like, they're my friends, you know,
Mm.
real life friends and shit. So I hope they make it, but it feels like maybe, and it's pushed because they're my friends. But I hope they do good, you know. I just don't know what they're up to.
I
Sure.
would say maybe on this team temp, Ryan, the Finns, like Alu, Zori, like you got some bloody good players in there.
Yeah, this sounds even like yes. I don't know.
Yeah,
It looks
I
good.
can see them making playoffs. I think they're probably in a maybe boat.
Nah,
Kova
it's more
always
like yes.
struggle. Yeah, go on, Han.
The AU team, it's more like yes. I mean,
Okay.
it should be yes. Watching like at the competition, it's some pretty good roster. It looks like those
Interesting.
guys. I mean, it's
Okay.
same with the Bulgarians as well, maybe. But yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do it.
What about Paloma? Obviously, you guys have played them beforehand as well. You reckon with the
I
recent
think it's no.
results?
I
You
think it's
reckon?
no for them.
Yeah,
No,
fair enough.
I think the guys who they're gonna play with gonna be like understanding their play style, and it's gonna be pretty random. It's just like my feeling, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. The only other team I can really see here, we had Eco, obviously Fanbit, that made the run 2 seasons ago.
They're a maybe. Like, they have to be. They're a decent team. Like, even though they've recently made roster changes and their results haven't quite been where they were before, they're still core 3, Ryan. So I think they're probably a maybe to making playoffs.
I'm wondering if there's
I
any
think
other.
it's no, if you ask me, but no disrespect to.
Yeah.
Ah, get him out.
What about
get him
Kova?
out.
What about Kova?
No.
No, I mean they've recently lost Spargo, so I don't know. They do struggle a lot in advance, which is odd because they actually do fairly well, I think, in best of threes, but in best of ones and advanced, there are normally some struggles with them. I mean,
Yeah, I think
Onyx
it's
was it this season or last season when we looked at it, Ryan, that they made playoffs? So
Yeah, it was this season just gone, season 41. So,
right,
or was it
okay.
season 40? You are right. Like it happened very
yeah.
recently.
I might have actually been the last season,
Let's have a
like
quick
the
look,
one
hold
before
on.
at season 40.
Let's see if it will quickly show up if I'm to scroll down here. Nah, never mind. Hold on, let's see. Complete results. Show us.
I think this is pretty
41
all in as well.
advanced, 78.
Oh,
Season
that's a rough
40
one.
advanced, 9th, 12th. So it was season
Yeah.
40.
Okay. So look, there are maybe because I think they surprised a lot of people. They actually played really well in the playoffs last time around. Beyond Possible, which is the kick guys, Victor,
Or-
Spellin, Raftu. What do you think about them, Han?
I hope so, but I think it's like maybe going to no, but I hope so.
I'd
I
put
mean,
them as a maybe.
yeah,
Check out Ambush, by the way, Ryan. They've
what
got
is it?
ReTr00 Dweg and h4rn in there. So a couple of like known French players coming into some of the younger ones, maybe trying to see if they can build up a new generation. Like I know Wasnik's been around for quite a while, and Gringo as well, but you got a lot of experience there of ReTr00 Dweg and h4rn.
Yeah. This feels very much like the eyeballers of France, doesn't it?
It could be, yeah, very much so.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe following in the same footsteps. I think the only other team that I can really look at, obviously the Cryptover guys we talked about earlier on, and then the Quasar guys, obviously the team from the Far East qualifiers in Russia. But
what about the polls that won open? These guys aren't bad. Like they even play on HLTV a little bit.
Yeah,
I
know
think
those guys.
I think the only issue is, and Han, maybe you can comment on this as well, is for the one pin guys as well, I know they shared it, is that it's a massive step going from open to advanced. Like you're never going to see yourself through to playoffs in your first season of advanced after playing open, you know? I think it's like a completely different game that you're playing. That's the only thing I would say that doesn't work for them, for me right now, is that obviously we have individual experience here. You know, it's not quite like the one pin side where we haven't really seen them reach this level, but I'm not going to be counting on these guys to make playoffs just because their whole last season was playing against people that can barely shoot back. You know, that's the analogy that they have here. So I don't know. I think that this team's good. Don't get me wrong. I think when we have a chat about season 42, if they're sticking around and they had an okay run this season, or season 43 rather, then yeah, maybe the talk is there. But you can't go from open to advanced, and I can't see them getting playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty possible if it's like just new team and which is like team, but I'm not sure if those guys are actual team or just like mix for the tournaments and shit. Like if they're team and like they're practicing and stuff, I would say maybe. But if they're not, I don't think they're gonna make it. Like we just gather today, let's play the match and shit like this. I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, I wish them luck. I know Krasno, and yeah. I mean, I know all of them, but I talk with Krasno sometimes only.
So I think what kind of rounds out advanced to me, Ryan, is that there's a few favorites. You know, there's probably 5-6 teams that you can look at and go, yeah, they're going to make it. There's a lot of teams that are sort of, yeah, they might do, because I think it is stacked towards the higher end, and we always see strong teams not making playoffs. I mean, even for you guys, Han, I think last season, obviously it was recent roster changes, but you were probably one of the highest HLTV ranked teams, and you guys didn't make playoffs. So there are a lot of good teams that don't make the top 24. I think there are some weak competition this advanced season as well, Ryan. But overall, I'm going to be very excited to see what the top 24 looks like and who actually makes playoffs, because there will be some surprises. There always is.
It has to be, man. Has to be. Yeah.
It's pretty random, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Advanced and stuff. Like I don't think like most of the good teams, like for example Skate, you see, or some other team on this level, they put like so big focus on advanced. Maybe if it was like Challenger or MD or whatever it is, it would be like way bigger priority.
Yeah,
But like advanced, it's not like that big priority. I mean, it's step to go, but yeah.
sure. Fair enough. I think we can move on to roster changes. Maybe
Yes.
we can address a couple today. I know you got a long list, but I reckon if we run through maybe like 5 or 6 and end the show, that'll be all right. Take
Yeah,
us up.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, the first one, Eternal Fire. Don't know how much of this you've seen, Han, but that is a massive overhaul of the Turkish side over there. They parted
Yeah,
ways
so
with Calix, Xflound, and then their coach of Bishop. Major's come back. He was playing Valorant. I think Paz was as well.
Yeah.
And then Hardstyle's come over. So you got the ex-Space Soldiers guys coming back in. I think it helps the IGL situation, Ryan, because something we've been talking about
Yeah.
is Xantares was IGLing, then Woxic was IGLing, Emor was IGLing. Now they've actually got a proper IGL, but, I mean, you're bringing back 2 guys that haven't played in a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with this change of bringing back Valorant players as CS players. You know, once you've turned to the dark side, you can't come back. No, I think in all seriousness though that we're in a position where you're so out of touch with the game. You know, you're so not involved with how the game works, and maybe as a coaching position because you can kind of oversee it tactically rather than in the moment. But can you count on these guys? You know, between the player break and no doubt about it, they're going to go for the RMR qualifiers and go for the Rio Major. Are you going to see 6 maps turned around in this kind of time? Absolutely not. I think they've been their chances of Rio. Maybe we're looking at the bigger picture where Eternal Fire as an org have gone, do you know what? We don't care if you make the major. Like, it would be a cool plus, but I think everyone will be understanding of these changes. We're playing for the long term. But then when I think of that, Eternal Fire have never played for the long term, it feels like. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw an Eternal Fire side stick together for more than 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like we've always seen changes on this Eternal Fire side. It's just, I don't know. I'm looking at the roster now. Sure, Xantares, Woxic, Emor been there for 11 months. But we look at the players that they've pulled in, and they've made, so far in 2022, they've made 7 changes.
It's quite a lot.
And they got ESEA last year, didn't they? So we had like kind of the core 4 of Calix, Emor, Woxic, Xantares. And since then, in 2022, we've made 7 changes, including Hardstyle and Paz and Major. I don't know. I don't think this is a side that sticks together for all too long, if I'm honest. I think it's a shame because I think Xantares, Xfloud as well, specifically, maybe even and Woxic in the shout can get better teams and sit in maybe more of a European environment. I think this is like an attempt at the last dance now, where you kind of bring back everyone and go, yeah, we're going to make it, when you've basically pummeled your chances of making the major.
What do you think about them, Han? You played much? You've played much for Eternal Fire?
Only with Fiend we played. I think we never lost against them. Whatever. I think it's mistake to do this. And what my not opinion, but like idea behind these things is like first of all, I don't think they're gonna do better than they did now, you know. But I think like the idea behind this is that I know one of the experienced players, Voxic or Xantares, probably throw this to get them because they for sure felt like something was lacking in the experience side in situations and shit. But I don't know how good these guys shoot. Like by the time they were playing Space Soldiers and shit, I was not like that much watching CS, you know. I mean, I was watching more like the bigger tournaments, like the Fnatic thing, 2015, you know? Yeah, I'm just explaining whatever. Yeah, I think like basically just the idea behind this is that they have like big goals. It's obvious, you know, but like it won't happen this way. Like the lineup they had, Xcloud and I don't remember who else they removed. Whatever. Uh, it's gonna be the best they had. They just saw some lack of experience and they think, let's go get I don't know, the older guys or whatever it is, the experienced guys, you know, and we're gonna fix the shit and we're gonna be even fucking better, but it's not like that. It's just how I think, you know.
Yeah, there's been some big changes, and not just in the Turkish scene as well. Vizsla ceasing operations. Ryan, I was a little bit surprised about that. Vizsla Krakow, you know, the team with
Yeah. I know the team pretty good, but it's like I didn't know that the orc is going out or what?
Yeah, everything's gone. So as far as like players were leaving, I think players were getting bent. There was only 2 players left on the lineup. But they've completely like seized it. So that was obviously Snatchy, Jedka, Spiro, Sobel, Goofy. You got some good players on that team.
Yeah.
A big shame that we don't see Vizsla anymore, but maybe they stay together, maybe they go apart, they go elsewhere. I mean, that's just classic Polish CS, though, isn't it? Where, you know, it's a big roster change after the player break. Everyone starts going everywhere once again to try and build the number one team. But that was a little bit of a surprise to me.
What I think the most annoying thing is as well, for personal reasons, maybe those at home will know, ESL basically run these local events, right, where it's in-house. We have ESL Premiership, which is the UK event. Poland has the Polish version of it. And they came second, right? And you look at that matchup that they played in the grand final, and it was 16-13, 16-14. That was played May 8th. Like, we were so close in seeing them in a place in conference through this. And in the space of 2 months, we've now waved goodbye to the entire team. The org's disbanded. Like, again, it's maybe there's something behind it that we don't know. But I'm looking at this side and the capability of Snatchy, Jedka, Sparrow, Sobol, Goofy, and Lord as their coach. And I look 3 months ago where we were close to getting conference, and we're not going to have this team in existence anymore because Snatchy left on he left on the 4th of the 1st, the 4th of January, and then Goofy and Sobol have obviously, or sorry, no, he left on the 30th of the 6th, and obviously Goofy's left on the 15th of the 7th. Sure, the timing isn't like the worst, it's only a couple of weeks out, but maybe we've already seen Snatchy go for different offers and Jedka going for different offers, and now Goofy and Sobol are left without a team. And I think Whistler had a place in Advanced, if I'm not mistaken, this season. So I don't know what's going on there in terms of, is this team going to stick together to play Advanced as a mix? Like, this is a really messy situation, man. And I can only feel for the guys because, as I said, realistically, if they won 3 more rounds in that best of 3, they would have been in conference. We would have had this org sticking around for a little longer. They would have been invited back for autumn. Instead, they're conferenceless, and now they're orgless.
Yeah, so we'll see if those players go elsewhere. See if any of them go EU. I mean, it's not often that Polish players do go to EU lineups, but maybe that could be an opportunity. We spoke about Sinners a little bit earlier, Han. They picked up 0 from Gamer Legion, which pretty much just rips Gamer Legion now because I think they've got IM and Isaac, and that's only the players that they have. But do you think this is a good move for Sinners?
I think it's like the only move they can do. I mean, literally, they try to take our guy, maybe, whatever.
Yeah, there's not many teams to pick from, is there?
Yeah, it's like, as I said, it's very sad about the Czech scene is that there are not many good players. You know, like they have all the conditions, I would say, to develop players and things, and I don't know how they don't have many good players.
Do you know what also I want to touch on, Ryan, is AGO, that what they played at the last Pro League and put up like some decent fights.
Yeah.
They were putting on some very good shows. They've parted ways with Ultimate, Axel, and Lemon. So they've got Furlan as their IGL and Minrox as their coach, and that's it. So you've got Vizsla that are all out there. You've got AGO that just made Pro League and actually got wins and put up like decent map performances. And yet they're down to 1 player. So I'm just expecting a massive shuffle. Like, it has to be a huge shuffle coming.
That would be really great. Yeah, it sounds really interesting. But I don't know, this Polish scene, it's maybe the weirdest Europe scene. I don't know. You have like 20 players going around same 5 teams. Literally, it's just a different time. And they never make something lasting. I don't know, maybe Visual was something lasting with some core players. I don't know since the start, but yeah, it's so fucking weird because, you know, they have good players, but they never make it work out. And they probably pray, oh my god, the next roster change gonna be the thing, and they keep doing roster changes.
Every time.
Yeah, bro, I swear, it's so fucking weird.
And another one to add into the mix, Ryan, Pact also part ways with Reets, Tapchan, and Vins. So we're seeing Pact making big changes as well. It's gotta be. It's gotta be coming soon.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, right, like the autumn season for this, obviously, like they don't run at the exact same times, but I'm just looking at ESL Premiership as a product, right? And looking at the dates that we have for UK, the autumn season, at least last year, was on, it started in August, 30th of August until the 10th of October. So, realistically, we have enough time where all of these teams make changes. We have the start. All of these teams play through the planes or whatever, however their system works. And that all starts in the next month. And so for all these players that try and compete at a local level, surely they're looking at ESL Poland and being like, we want in on this event. Who are we mixing with? Who are we teaming with? Like these changes have to happen soon, man. Otherwise a lot of people will miss out, and ESL Poland will just. I mean, they lose a lot of the bigger names that they have. I think if you look at the ESL Polska event as a whole, like we're missing out on AGO. We're missing out on obviously the other teams that we mentioned, Wisla. And then we've got Pact in the mix. Ungentim are there. Illuminar are there. Game Agents. That's it. Like that's who we've got. Like we're struggling. And Honoris, but you know, we're struggling, mate. We need the shuffle to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Well, in more positive news, brand new Edward team. Have you seen this Edward Ukrainian team, Han?
Yeah, I think I even retweeted some of them. I don't remember who. I mean, I'm Edward fanboy, since the 1.6 days,
Okay.
so of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I saw they lost from not so good team. I don't remember. Oh, actually, it was these Paloma guys. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Bro, it
They're
just
everywhere.
you shit. Yeah, whatever. It just you shit. Like, watching Legend was from some not shit team, but like, I don't know who are those guys. But yeah, I wish them best of luck. I don't know how far they're gonna get. I believe it's gonna be like circa around top 50.
That looks to be a
It's
good
like
project.
my opinion. Yeah,
Yeah.
but maybe after a year together, there could be some things about top 30, 20, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, in the end, I wish them best of luck. I really hope like he makes some great comeback or something. But I think, yeah,
Yeah, there's some good players on the team, Ryan. I mean, you
yeah,
got
they are
Edward in
there.
there, you got Bondic, Isk. Obviously, we saw him playing on ITB. Foster, I think we saw him on One Win, and then Alex 666. I think I remember him
He's
on
unreal.
Hellraisers.
Is
he? You've seen?
He's a pretty good player from what I remember. Actually, I think he had like a pretty good stint. He played for Hellraisers back in the day.
Hellraisers, yeah.
So yeah, I'm just looking at his stats now. The kid has a 1.2. He's 20 years old and he's got a 1.2 rating in the last 3 months. And you look at the teams that he's been playing against: OG Academy, Illuminar, ITB, obviously the Paloma guys as well. He played Fanbit in Tokyo XD. That's where I saw him in
the Gorillas team, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And then obviously played for Hellraisers in the Multivibes Knockout Series, but that's like really pushing it. But yeah, we saw them play against ITB in Republic, and he had like, I think he had like some of the best Counter-Strike I saw. It was like him and Wonderful, like really top the sheets in Hellraisers. So I'm actually really excited to see Alex play. Obviously, as Hans said, like Edward's a legend to the game, so it's really nice to see him still playing. But I feel like it's kind of like the Guardian approach, where we're trying to build up some local talent, which I'm not against. I'm really not against. Obviously, it's nice to see Isk in there as well, who's waited so long for a team.
Another one in CIS is a Vanguard. I think we spoke about them a little bit. You said that they made changes, Han. They brought in the core from Unique. So Sorrow, Winter, and Iceman go over there from the 100 Ping Gods, or the Unique side. And they part ways with Finnegan, Enzo, and Fozzle. So I think Adren is even like a managerial role in a Vanguard now. So they're trying to maybe push some more Kazakhstanian players over, because we used to look at K23 as being a Kazakhstanian team, but then that's no there. I mean, Adren was there, Mo was there, Nealon, Kadio. So maybe they're trying to bring them all back?
I don't know. I mean, since they have the full lineup ready, or they're like some swaps
They've
missing?
got full team now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, it's obvious that Adrian had some impact on this decision, in my opinion. I don't know, because it's his countryman or something, and yeah, the guys are pretty decent. I don't know, maybe some few years of experience, not few years, but like more time or something. I think they're like pretty decent, but I think we talked about them already. I think they suck under pressure. It's just how it seems, because I have seen their games, I have played them.
What do you reckon about roles, Ryan?
Oh.
They Jane, right? Jane? How do you say it?
Jane.
Jane. So him and Nono2K, they left and they went to, what is it, Gen 1?
Yes.
And they've now picked up Sturgis and Chanky. What do you reckon?
Do you know what? I see a realm in which Jane and Nono go to LDLC with this Amanek rebuild.
Perhaps?
I think that would have, like, in my head, they didn't need to go to whatever team they're at now. I forget their name. I wanted to see them because Jane said he wanted to take a bit of a break. I remember just seeing him. He was like, guys, like, I'm feeling pretty demotivated. Like, I wanted to take a step back. Nono did the same. And then obviously with this whole like Amanek rumor of him going to LDLC that started months ago, in my head I instantly connected the dots and I saw Jane as always, like, I'm not sure if you caught much of their season, but he is like on another level with the AWP, man. Like I've honestly never seen a guy with much confidence as him. Sort of, especially as I would say a no-namer, right, compared to tier 2. Like we really haven't seen him hit gold in tier 2 yet. Nono's a pretty solid player, and we have like so many French free agents right now. Like there's a list that could go on as to who plays in this new LDLC side, and I just saw that vision immediately. For Royals, again, it kind of sucks because you made playoffs last season, or you were very close to making playoffs, and now this season, despite being very close and going on a 6-map win streak to go, I think it was like 9-5, 9-6 to end the season. Like, they had a pretty good end. Now we're just going to see another season where they middle out and they have to, like, work on the roster even more. It's difficult. It's really difficult. But, I don't know, man. From coaching the guys to watching the guys, I'm obviously a big fan of Swaggy and that. But yeah, it's just another season that I feel like we see them wasted.
And do you know what I'm wondering about is Nemega? Like, what do those players do? Because obviously the whole lineup is benched. You've got some unreal players on that team. Like, J.O.'s been around for a really long time. IDB can be a little bit inconsistent with the AWP, but I think he's got some really high peaks when he's on some good teams.
Yeah, the ceiling's high.
Yeah, so you've got some good players. Even Belchadok, I don't know if you've seen much of the Nemega players, Han. Like, have you played many of them in Prax or in officials?
Yeah, I have. I think everyone is capable of them. I don't know why, honestly, JYO haven't been like, I don't know, lifted to some other team even previous year or the end of 2020. I think he did pretty good job for his role back then. Like recently, I haven't watched a lot about them. I think I just sometimes check scores and things, you know. If I see something like interesting, I watch like for 5-10 minutes if I think the match is interesting. And yeah, so I think like everyone is capable of them. So yeah.
Pretty much all I've got.
Yeah.
Ryan, I think we'll address the next in
Yeah,
the next few shows
yeah.
because again, there's so many roster changes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
there's mate, the list goes on. And now the player break started, like, you know what,
Oh,
we're
it's
gonna
gonna
take
be
a week
mental.
break, we're gonna come back and like the sheets filled right back up with roster changes. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot more to talk about, but we'll save it for another episode. Han, is there anything you'd like to say?
Not really. Like we ending?
Yeah, we're done, mate. You're free.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's just thank you for the invite. Thanks to everybody who is watching and who supports me and you guys because you're doing pretty fine job. I'm trying my best as well. And yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Just thanks.
Thank you very much for joining us, Han. Thanks everyone at home for watching Tier 2 Talk. We'll be back soonish, probably about 2 weeks or so with another episode. Until then, have a good evening, everyone. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.